Hello guys, welcome to our crash course. Today we'll be taking a look at cell referencing, how to make reference to a cell in Microsoft Excel. So let's just use that to finish up this manual invoice we are creating here. Okay, let's say we want to get the amount of the Multina we bought. Amount is rate times quantity bought. The rate is there already and quantity is there. So what we're gonna do is just to press equals. Then instead of typing manually 15 times 5,000, we just select equals C2 times D2 and press enter. You see the cell already calculates it and has given us the value. Okay, so this is what we call cell referencing. It is known as relative referencing in Excel. Now we've made reference to cell C and cell D, cell C2 sorry, and cell D2. Now look at the formula bar, you can see it there. This equals C2 times D2. So whatever changes we make here, we affect the amount here. Let's say for example, we change this from 15 to 25. Press enter. You see the amount has changed. Okay, let's use Ctrl Z to undo that. So that's relative referencing. Let's just use the autofill handle to copy it down, to fill it down. Okay, that's it. Now we want to calculate the tax. Let's say at the tax rate of 7.5%, that's 0.075. okay, this is the tax rate. So we want to calculate the individual taxes of all these items, but we want to calculate their taxes individually. So what do we do here? We say equals the amount multiplied by the tax rate. Okay, now let's press enter. We have it. This is the tax rate. But now when we copy down with the autofill handle, when we fill it down with the autofill handle, notice that we're having 0,000 no value here. The reason is that, remember, the autofill, what it does is to describe a pattern, to identify a pattern, and to fill that pattern down, or whether right or down. Now when the autofill handle has described a pattern here, and the pattern here is E2 times G1, that means the first cell by the left times the next one up by the right. See, it's this times this. So when we use autofill and we are trying to get the value here, what we actually did was this amount times this here, and you notice there's nothing here. That's why it gave us 0. Now that introduces us to absolute referencing. We want to make an absolute reference. What we simply do is to put a $sign behind the row number and column letter of this cell. Let's just do it practically. So instead of just saying E2 times Z2 and leave it like that, we come to the formula bar and type a $sign behind G. Okay, and another one behind 1. Then press enter. Okay, still give us the same value. But now what we are doing now is that when we use autofill to fill it down, it will give us the right thing. That's it. Now another way to do that, let's just use Ctrl Z to undo. Okay, another way to do that is instead of manually typing the $sign, once you click here, you press the function key F4. Okay, look at it. Let me undo it again. This is where we are. Okay, now use the function key F4. I see once you press the function key F4, it gives us the $sign behind the G and behind 1. Okay, if we press it again, it gives it only behind the row number. Do it again, press the function key F4 again, it gives you the $sign only behind the column letter. Then press it again, there's no $sign. So once you press it once, it gives us the absolute reference. That means that this absolute reference means that we've anchored the column and the row. So a cell is made up of a column and a row. So when we anchor the column, which is the G1, and the row number, which is row number 1, right? So this is G and this is 1. We've anchored the two of them. That means we've anchored only this cell. So whatever we are calculating will be referring to only this cell. That's it. Press enter. We have it. Then let's just use the autofill handle to fill down. That's perfect. So another thing we'll do here now, let's just take a practical example of other forms of referencing, actually referencing, which is when we want to make either reference only to the row or only to the column. Let's take a practical example here. Okay, let's say for example, we want to say equals B2. Then use the function key F4 to make reference only to the column. This is it. So the dollar sign is behind only the column B. We'll press enter. This is all we have. Let's try to use the autofill to fill it right. What do we have? Only Martina, yes, because we are making reference to only the column. So when we are making reference to only the column, that means that whatever we are doing, the formula cannot, when we are using autofill to fill it, it cannot move forward or backward. It can only move up and down. So okay, looking at this now, let's just try copy the selected area. Let's use autofill and autofill down. You see what we have? So actually when we are filling, you see that it is filling down. It's the formula can move down. You can see Ferruz here. It's moving down, but it cannot move forward or backward. So the movement is only a vertical movement. So when you anchor only the column, that means there won't be any horizontal movement. Okay, there will only be a vertical movement. Let's try another one. Let's try anchor only the row. Let's say equals, let's use this Martina again, but this time we are anchoring only the row, which is row 2. Press function key F4, press it again. Okay, so that the dollar sign is behind only the row, which is row 2. Press enter. That gives us Martina. Let's fill right and fill down. See what we have here? So we have the numbers here. Let's fill down. You see, we're only having the same things here because the movement is only horizontal. It cannot move vertically. You see, after Martina, ordinarily the next thing here should be Ferruz, but we're not seeing Ferruz here because the cell is only recognizing horizontal movement. Why? We anchored the row. Okay, so that's it about cell referencing.